Have you ever thought that just putting a trust in place would solve everything in your estate plan? Well, you're not alone in that thought, but there's more to it than most people think. In this video, I'll explain why some trusts don't work the way you expect and how to make sure that yours does exactly what you want. Hi, I'm estate planning attorney Mike Smith with Smith Barid LLC, and I'm one half of the estate planning guys. I've been practicing law since 1996, and I've helped hundreds of families with their estate planning in that time, and I've seen a lot of things to do with living trusts and probate, and so I'm going to give you the benefit of some of that experience that I have from working with trusts in the real world. So the first thing is that many people think that simply creating a trust will magically avoid all probate issues and eliminate any chance of family disputes, but here's what most people don't understand. A trust is only as effective as the assets that are properly placed within it. Remember, I think of a trust as a bucket, and in order for it to be effective, you have to put the assets into the bucket. If you don't fund your trust, you don't transfer the assets into it, it's like setting up a bank account and never depositing any money into it. Bank account's not going to do you much good without any money deposited into it. You've got all your wishes written down in the trust, but the assets aren't properly protected or controlled by the trust because you never put them into that bucket. So now that we've debunked that myth, let's talk about the key person that makes your trust effective. And it's probably not who you think. And by the way, if you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. Let us know, subscribe to the channel. We post up estate planning videos on a weekly basis. Now, the second misconception that's out there, or problem that I see with living trusts, is naming the wrong trustee. And in a living trust, initially you're the trustee of the trust, and if you're married, maybe you and your spouse are serving as the trustee of the trust. But if you become incapacitated, and when you pass away, you're going to have someone else step in, your backup, if you will. That's what we call a successor trustee. And the person that you choose as successor trustee is critical to the trust's success. Too often, I see people choose a family member without considering if that person has the skills to handle the financial and legal matters involved. A trustee needs to manage investments, keep detailed records, report to beneficiaries, and follow your instructions precisely. So it's a role that requires diligence and often impartiality. So choosing the right person is essential. Sometimes a professional trustee can be a better choice, even if that seems a little less personal. And my viewpoint on that has changed over the years, and I now frequently recommend to clients that they choose a professional trustee to serve, because the professional trustee is going to simply follow the instructions that you've left in the trust, and there's no pressure is going to be there for them to do something that might be outside of the lines, if you will. So they're trained to follow those instructions. They're also adept in managing investments. They have a fiduciary responsibility to your beneficiaries. It does cost some money to hire a professional trustee, but I have seen that ultimately save families money multiple times because we avoid the controversies that can arise. And I've had clients who named family members who didn't do a good job managing the trust, weren't diligent about keeping records, and it led ultimately to litigation, which is what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to help smooth things out and avoid family conflict when you pass away. But here's where it gets really important. Even if you've chosen the right trustee, that doesn't mean the work is done. There's one more step that most people overlook. If you'd like some more tips on choosing the right trustee, check out the free guide that is in the description. There's a link to our resources page, and there's a free guide there on how to choose the right trustee. Now, the third problem that I see with living trust is that people believe that the trust never needs to be updated, and nothing could be further from the truth. So many people will just set up a trust and then kind of forget about it. I've done that, check, done my estate planning, don't have to worry about that. But the reality is that life changes. So think about it. You get new family members, either through marriage or birth. You acquire new assets, or sometimes there are even changes in the law. That can happen kind of frequently, if I'm being honest about it. And if you don't update your trust, then it won't reflect what your current wishes are, what your circumstances are, or quite possibly what the current law is. So it's important to review your trust on an annual basis, but if not that, at least every 3 years, to make sure that it is up to date with your family situation and what the law is. And, the other time you need to review a trust is when there are significant life changes. So if you get divorced, if you get remarried, if someone in your family passes away that maybe you named as a beneficiary or a trustee in your trust, that's an important time to go sit down and review your trust with your estate planning attorney and make sure that everything is up to date. So what we've covered so far is just the beginning, really. Trusts are really powerful tools that can do a lot of great things for you, but only if they stay in line with what your current needs are, what your current situation is. So is this making sense so far? Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about updating your trust or choosing trustees or any of the things that we've talked about. So to recap, setting up a trust is a powerful step, but it's not the end of the journey. You need to fund it properly. You need to choose the right trustees to serve when you're gone, and you need to keep it updated to ensure that it truly works for you. That sounds like a lot, but it's really not. In our practice, we have an ongoing program for our clients that helps them keep things up to date. Very simple, easy to be a member of that, and then we kind of take care of it all for you. So if you want to learn more about estate planning essentials, check out our next video. It covers some key strategies to protect your legacy and avoid common pitfalls. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Mike Smith, the Estate Planning Guys.